Well, what is going on, Rev Gang? How you guys doing today? What is going on? Tonight, what's going on? I see Karma, Gold Dust Woman. We got, hold on, let me add this to the stream too, so we can add this in the background. We got Mar in the building, Callie, Delana, CKI, Susie, Detective Papa. What's going on?
Bing bang.
Welcome to the newsroom with T-REV, man. We got some breaking news out here. Breaking news considered to me. I don't give a fuck who likes it or who not. If you don't like this shit, get the fuck up out of here. Any haters, any backstabbers, any trolls, carry your ass out of here. We got no tolerance for that tonight. We are here to talk about the victims and the families and what's going on with the case. So if you don't like that, carry your ass. That's all I got to say. But anyways, welcome to the Raw and Uncut newsroom with T-REV. We are out here. What is going on, Donna G? Who is Kohlberger's parents is what I think you're asking. We will jump into that. I will read the report on that. Detective Puff. Let's show Rev Gang fans how much we love them by hitting that like button. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. What is going on? What is going on? Aren't y'all revved up? What's going on? Angelic Darkness, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Callie says we have a lot to go over tonight. Absolutely, which brings me to the point where we're going to jump into this right here, right? I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put a copy on the screen for you guys, and I'm going to read through it, right? So, actually, I'll just read it to you right now as I'm looking at it. So it says, reports come in and say this right here. The parents of the Idaho student murder suspect Bryan Kohberger have been subpoenaed to testify before an investigative grand jury in the family's home state of Pennsylvania, says a report. Now, Mr. Kohberger's father is expected to testify before the grand jury in a sealed proceeding in Monroe County on Thursday, a source told CNN. His mother has already given evidence to the grand jury, the source told the news outlet, and added that their testimony, which will be given under oath, may be shared with Idaho prosecutors. So something's over there steaming in Pennsylvania. So meanwhile, the families of the two slain University of Idaho students are preparing to sue the university, Bryan Kohberger's university. So WSU is they're going to sue WSU. Interesting. So it says that Bryan Kohberger's university, Washington State University, and the city of Moscow over their murders are being sued. It says an attorney representing the families of Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, and Madison Mogan, 21, filed tort notices this month protecting their rights to sue within the next 2 years. The notices obtained by ABC News do not reveal what claim the families may make, and no lawsuit has been filed at this stage. The revelation comes after their accused killer, Mr. Kohberger, appeared in court for his arraignment in Latah County Court in Moscow, Idaho on Monday. So it says during the arraignment, he refused to enter a plea, which we know that for the murder and the burglary, all that other stuff. It says Mr. Kohberger is accused of killing Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. So we know that on the 13th of November, their wonderful lives were taken from this earth. But I do want to jump into why is Kohberger's family going in front of a grand jury? Why? Does anybody have any clue to why they would be going in front of a grand jury? I'm curious. I'm very curious. That's interesting to me. Heidi, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Deidre Baker, welcome. Trina, welcome. Sunshine and Tan Lines, welcome. I appreciate you coming by. Sunshine, I see you. Okie Angel, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you. Kathy, Buck Cherry Lover, Danielle, welcome. So what do we have an idea on why they are going to testify to a grand jury and that they're letting it go to the Idaho prosecutors? Do we know? I've seen some other killings that may be connected to Bryan Kohberger. I don't know that to be true. It's alleged at this point. But we got some videos to go over, some things to go over, and then I'll open up the lines. And yes, I see a lot of you saying bench Detective John because you want to call in. Okay, I get it. We'll get to that. JB's breaking news. I mean, it's breaking news. To me, it is. It may not be, but to me, it is. when shit comes out like this, and then you got a community that's creating other suspects, it's breaking news to me. Crime on a dime. What's going on? Welcome. 44 under. Rap gang in this. Easy. What's going on? Brianna Cece. But hurry before the news goes cold. We're getting to it. Let's get it. CK dog. CKI dog spoiler here, but this is for Sosa tomorrow. Prayers for Sosa. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, tomorrow we do take him to get his stitches removed, and we will be seeing. We'll get the referrals for the cancer specialist. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready to face that. But at least we know that the cancer cells are minor in Sosa. So it's getting interesting, says Bella. Thank you, though, CK. I appreciate you. Excuse me. I got to know, WSU and UI and ISP all giving notice. Absolutely. Every single one of them giving notice. Let's jump into this, though. Let me pull this up because I want to pull this up here. All right, here we go. Let's check this out.
Breaking news tonight on a pair of legal fronts. We're learning that the parents of accused killer of 4 Idaho students have been called to testify before a Pennsylvania grand jury. Their son, Brian Koberger, is charged in the gruesome stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students last November. He was arrested at his parents' Pennsylvania home nearly 2 months later. Koberger's parents are reportedly being questioned about another case of a missing woman in Pennsylvania. Joining us with more now on the legal issues at stake is News Nation's senior national correspondent Brian Enton and News Nation legal contributor Jesse Weber. Brian, why are the police looking to talk to the parents about a case in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, this is an interesting development. We have confirmed that Brian Koberger's parents were called to testify in front of this investigative grand jury that has to do with this missing persons case. 45-year-old Dana Smithers, she went missing in June of 2022. Her body was just discovered about a month ago. We're told this is just an investigative grand jury, so it's not like they're trying to indict one specific person, but still, it's very, very interesting that they would subpoena and call in Brian Koberger's parents to come in and testify.
Jesse, what do you make of this?
So they're trying to determine if a crime was committed. I think that it should be important to note that Ms. Smithers disappeared in the same county where the parents live. So one possibility could be, is it about Brian Koberger committing a crime only a few months before he's accused of committing quadruple homicide? Or could it be that these are just residents of that community and they have just some ancillary information regarding the disappearance of Ms. Smithers? That could very well be a possibility. And the Koberger front, I do think it's interesting considering one of the big factors we've always wondered is if Brian Koberger really did this to those 4 college students in Idaho, was this his first time?
Right.
It's such a brutal crime. And sometimes these killers actually do something before and it's found out later.
Well, it's not just such a brutal crime. It was
a different, oh yeah, by the way, if you just came in, it's a different grand jury. It says it right here. So it's a grand jury that's in Pennsylvania. So yes, it is a different grand jury. It's in the home state of Brian Koberger, you know, from Pennsylvania, Albrightsville. That's where it's taking place at, you know, and actually in Monroe County, which I'm very familiar with Monroe County because I used to live out that way. So, yes, Brian Koberger's parents will be taking place in a, you know, talking to a grand jury. And they will be able to share that information with the prosecutors in Idaho.
Was incredibly bold. I mean, there were 4 victims. There's not just one victim. He allegedly murdered them in a way that was very up close and personal and very risky. There were witnesses in the house at the time, right, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. And important for me to point out, too, we also have a source close to the case in Pennsylvania who tells us that Brian Koberger has a very solid alibi in that case. What the alibi is, we don't know. Is it possible that somehow his parents are part of that alibi and that's why they wanted to call them in to get them on the record? Remember, I mean, you know, they don't have to talk to the police, but one way that they can require them to come in and talk is with a grand jury subpoena. But I found it very interesting that we were able to confirm that there is an alibi here, apparently, with Brian Koberger.
And very quickly, do we know if the parents, Koberger's parents, have been cooperative with in law enforcement, you know, both in Idaho and in Pennsylvania up to now?
It appears they've been cooperative. I mean, we know that they are testifying. I mean, they're not, fighting the subpoena from what we've been told. So they will go and testify to the grand jury. I mean, I'm not sure that they wanted to do that or that they would have just voluntarily done it with like a police detective, but they are going to cooperate with these grand jury subpoenas.
How unusual is this, Jesse?
Well, the idea that you have a suspect who's being implicated in another crime, we've seen that happen before. Again, we just don't know his connection to this case.
Right.
But the parents, in a case in a day where the parents of accused killers have really taken center stage, they're sometimes the people that have the most information. These killers sometimes, or these suspects, have relayed information to their parents, and they are the ones that you need to speak to. All
right, Jesse Weber, Brian Enton, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this case in the days ahead. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Wow. Let's see, made it. Thank you, Never Fear Truth. Appreciate you coming by. Kathy says, I know they were looking into unsolved cases that Brian may be involved in. They have his DNA now. Maybe something matched up, ? It's good speculation. If it did, I mean, that's crazy. If something did match up, I'm interested in hearing about it if it comes out. It's certainly not small claim stuff. Definitely not. That background is nice. Thank you, Virginia Scratcher. I appreciate you. Jackie says, yes, Kathy, I wonder if he did that one. This case is getting crazier. For sure. Thank you, Libby Live. I appreciate you. Ram fan says, oh, shit, another case. Yeah. Wild. I wonder if he had Dana's ID.
Oh, my God.
Isn't a grand jury secretive? I mean, in a case that has a gag order, I mean, that's how I take it. It wasn't too secretive if they got it out, because I mean they put it out before it even happened. It's, like it says right here, the parents of Idaho student murder suspect Bryan Kohberger has been subpoenaed to testify before an investigative grand jury in the family's home state of Pennsylvania. So, and that's on Thursday, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow they will be in front of a grand jury in Monroe County in Pennsylvania. So that's very interesting. If anybody's out that way or lives that way close, pull up on them. Check it out. I mean, you might be able to get some information if you live out that way. Very interesting. Grand jury because his parents won't talk to them. They must be his alibi. Murder of Dana Smithers, which is, I hope she gets justice too. Everybody deserves justice. Thank you, Misty. I appreciate you. God bless you. I said black. Listen to me. I said back in January that a connection I have to PSP said there is a lot more to come out about this guy, which is interesting. Missing woman IDs possibly found in ID house in BK's house. My bad. I need my damn reading glasses. It's hard to see this small shit. Hey, everyone. Trev at it again. Yes, you already know. That would be odd. I don't know. I want to check these other videos out, though. There's more stuff that I want to check out before I open up the lines and let you guys call in real quick. Let's check out. Where's this video at? Yeah, I want to see this one.
Steve, thank you so much at this time for joining me tonight. I know that this has been just a hell of a day.
Yeah, we've seen this.
We've
seen this. Let's go to the next one. Will judge allow cameras? I think we've seen this one, too.
The suspect in the stabbing deaths, the murders.
Yep, we definitely seen that one. Let's go to the next one.
Months after an announcement that the house where 4 college students were brutally murdered would be demolished, the Moscow, Idaho home still stands. The home now boarded up and with security, and it's now been 1 day since the suspected killer, Bryan Kohberger, appeared in an Idaho court. Kohberger stood silent, prompting the judge to enter a not guilty plea for each of his 5 indictments. The 28-year-old former criminology student accused of brutally killing the 4 students last November, many family members of the victims choosing to be inside that courtroom yesterday. Senior national correspondent Brian Enton joins us live from Moscow. Brian was also inside that courtroom yesterday, but now you are in front of that home. Do we know what's next for this property?
Yeah, it's a good question, Nicole. You know, the plan was for this property to be torn down. It wasn't even supposed to be standing anymore. But you see behind me, it's still here. Let me show you. It looks different than last time we were here. They've got this fencing all the way around it. All of the windows are boarded up. It looks like they've disconnected the power. And then there is this little blue security hut outside, which is new. There's a security guard inside. He's actually in there right now. They're in there 24 hours a day. I was here last night, and the guy was in there even in the middle of the night. They used to have a security officer who sat out here in a car, but now, since this is apparently not being torn down anytime soon, they have put this little hut out here that he basically just stays in 24 hours a day. There's even like a porta potty out here for him to use the restroom. So
wow, that's interesting. They got a hut out there. Let me see that again. That's wild. Look at that. Look at that hut right there. They done got a hut with people standing in it and shit. Like, good God. I hope that for the victims' families, they do not tear this house down. That they keep it up until trial's over. I think that's very important.
A porta potty out here for him to use the restroom. So it's kind of interesting. Basically, the house, the owner of the house, after all of this happened, sold, or actually gave the house to the University of Idaho. The University of Idaho said they wanted to tear the house down just because it was just hard having it here with all the students living in this area. Obviously hard to walk by every day. They were going to turn it into a memorial or some kind of garden. But then there were concerns that perhaps the house needed to stay because of a potential trial. Would the jurors want to walk through the house and see it for themselves? So now it appears the house will stay, at least for now. They're hoping that the judge will rule on whether or not it should be torn down or not, but there hasn't been a ruling yet. As for a trial, it was big news yesterday, Nicole. Now a date has been set, October 2nd. That is at least the date for now for Bryan Kohberger to go on trial. We're told that it will last 4 to 6 weeks, and it's possible that this house will not be torn down and that this is a place that the jurors will be taking to see for themselves. Nicole?
I really hope that is true.
Yeah, we will certainly see. Brian, before we let you go, I mean, we can tell that it's quiet out there now, but is that an area, because I know Moscow, Idaho itself is a pretty small knit community there, but is the house a scene where a lot of people are coming to visit, coming to just to look, to be, to reflect?
Yeah, let me show you actually. There's another news crew set up here, but we can kind of walk around. You can see that there's a little memorial that has been started out here. A lot of this stuff is new. With the hearing happening yesterday, there were people that came to town to come by, pay their respects at the house. So yeah, it has sort of become a place where people come and pay their respects. School's out for summer right now, so a lot of the students are gone. But when school's in session, I mean, kids live all over this area. So you've got students walking back and forth really all day and night.
Yeah, so it's such a tough area, very brutal scene there. Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And as Brian just said, that trial date now set for early October. The prosecution has several months to go through evidence and make its case against Bryan Kohberger.
Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
Man, who was that? Anyway, hold up. Not that long ago, Julie posted something. You said Jewel posted something that she called the college and they still are pushing for the summer demo. They're gonna put a stop to it. I think the families are gonna be able to put a stop to it. Come on, fam. Me too, bro. All right, let's watch one more video, and then we'll pop open the phone lines. Oh yeah, something that was highly requested finally came out. Shout out to CLR Bruce Rivers, somebody that has got people exonerated. He is a defense lawyer. Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer. He is a defense lawyer. He has had people exonerated from prison. Made a video on this, and we're going to check that out right now. And then we'll open up the phone lines.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's going to react to all the self-snitching.
Oh, yeah. We got to watch this.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with our content genius behind the camera, Michael Rivers. Today, we're reacting to Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger. He entered an appearance in court just recently where they indicted him on murder one, and we'll talk about that and what the process is. But before we get to that, guess what? This is brought to you by eSign.com. eSign.
Shout out to Bruce Rivers. I've talked to Bruce Rivers plenty of times in comments, and he showed love. And shout out to Bruce Rivers. I'm trying to get Bruce Rivers on at one point, but he's a very busy man. If you ever need a good defense lawyer, get a hold of Bruce Rivers.
Very effective way to remotely do business. Let's say you're in custody and your family needs to take care of some business because you're Brian Koberger and you just don't have the wherewithal to be anywhere to sign something in person. So what you do is you just have your father or whoever you want to assign power of attorney, email the jail staff there, download the app, you get 3 free signatures a month, and the jail staff will come in, hey, Brian, come on down to the pod. They have him e-sign a document. And now you got power of attorney. And it's easy to remotely do business with eSign.com.
Very good.
So if it's not e-sign, no one signs. Okay. So here's the deal. He was scheduled, when I say he, I mean Brian Koberger. Now let's just recap it a little bit. Remember, he's the one that killed those 4 college students in Idaho, brutally killed them and left his DNA there. And they figured out his car was there. Brian Koberger was supposed to be in court to have a preliminary hearing. What is a preliminary hearing? A preliminary hearing is a hearing that, Minnesota doesn't have that, but a lot of states have preliminary hearings where the state has to establish probable cause. It's a very low standard, but they have to put on some evidence. They don't have to put on all the evidence, but they have to put some evidence on. And a lot of times it's just pro forma. It's a way for the defense to kind of get access to some discovery early on, and you get a chance to question witnesses. Well, what they did instead, they were scheduled for a preliminary hearing. They indicted him on murder 1 instead. In other words, they took their case to the grand jury. It's between 18 and 23 people. It's a secret process. And the grand jury decides whether there's probable cause. Probable cause just means it's slightly more true than not true. So let's take a look at the indictment. So count 1 is burglary. And burglary is defined as entering a dwelling with the intention to commit a crime therein. And in this case, the crime is murder. So it says count 1, burglary, that the defendant Brian Koberger on or about November 13th, 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. Well, the murder is really the crime here, but burglary is like, who cares when you're looking at this stuff. Then they indicted him on count 2, murder in the first degree. Count 3, murder in the first degree. Count 4, murder in the first degree. Count 5, murder in the first degree. And each one basically represents each victim. So he's got 4 counts of.
So, this is good to listen to everybody who's just coming in. If you're new and just popped into the channel, this is Bruce Rivers, a defense attorney that has had people exonerated. Don't believe me? Google it and you'll find out for yourself. This guy has had people exonerated from prison. He's just given his input on the case as a defense lawyer, and he covers a lot of different material when it comes to defense, mostly like hip hop stuff, but it's interesting to hear his take because he is a really good lawyer.
Murder in the first degree, and then 1 count of burglary. So what happens when you get into that? Well, you have to have an initial appearance, and that's where you enter your guilty or not guilty phase or plea. And so when in this case they didn't enter a guilty, and they did what they call a silent plea. That means you don't take a position on it one way or the other. So when you do that, you're not saying you're guilty, you're not saying you're not guilty, and the judge has to enter a not guilty. Let's just take a look and see what happened here in court.
If you're not required to testify, because you also have a right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions. So
you have the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. You all know that. And so what he's saying is while you're in court here, you can't be compelled to testify.
You remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way.
Everybody put the prayer hands in chat for Avani Beck. Prayers with you. Says T-REV fan, please pray for me. I just got diagnosed with skin cancer today, melanoma. God bless you. Everybody put the prayers in chat for Avani Beck, and we pray that you heal and get the right treatment that you need. God bless you.
What you do need to remember, though, is that anything you do say, other than to your lawyers, could be used against you in a later court proceeding. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
When you're in court, they go overboard to try to make sure that a defendant's rights are observed. And there's a reason behind that. People sometimes get pissed off, especially if they're victims of a crime, that, they don't, consider the victims, blah, blah, blah. The problem is if they're not careful, then we have to come back and do it all over again. And that can be traumatizing for any victims.
Do you have a copy of the indictment in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you see in the heading your name there. Is that your correctly spelled complete name?
Yes, it is.
So they're going through the indictment, and it seems tedious and kind of almost self-explanatory, but there's a reason that there's a redundancy in the process.
All right, I'm going to read you the charges on the indictment, starting with count 1, burglary. That is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-1401 and 1403.
So this is the part of the arraignment where the judge can read the charges, but you can also waive it. Usually you can see this. Your Honor, we enter not guilty plea, waive any further reading of the complaint, ask the matter be set on for a pre-trial hearing. That's usually what happens.
This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. Count 2, murder in the first degree. That is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died.
When you have the indictment, in other words, when a probable cause finding has been made by a jury or a grand jury, you don't get the opportunity then for a preliminary hearing. So that's one of the strategic reasons why they did this. But in some states like Minnesota, in other states, in order to be charged with murder 1, you have to be indicted by a grand jury.
Count 3, murder in the first degree, a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kayla Gonzalez, a human.
Now, if you remember, and I guess we don't really know yet exactly what his motives were, but we do know that he had an encounter with, when I say an encounter, a meeting or chance meeting with somebody at a coffee shop that may have been part of this group. But we really don't know what his ultimate motive was. We do know that he was a PhD candidate in a criminology type of curriculum, and he thought he was smarter than everybody else. And he was also on the hook. In other words, he might have been on the verge of getting kicked out.
Yes, ma'am. I read it in the beginning.
Being by stabbing Kayla Gonzalez, from which she died. Count 4, murder in the first degree. That's a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Alleging that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully.
You hear the whimpering in the back of the courtroom? That is, the family. It's got to be so difficult for them to sit through this and hear their child's name read off in open court because they were brutally murdered for absolutely no fucking reason whatsoever.
Deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Zaina Kernodle. Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry. Zaina Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Zaina Kernodle, from which she died. Count 5, murder in the first degree. This is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Lake Talk County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died. This is signed on May 16, 2023, by the presiding grand juror. So now I'm going to go to the maximum penalties of each charge, starting with count 1.
So, and the reason that they do this is because you have a constitutional right to know what you're being charged with and what the possible penalties are.
Burglary, minimum 1 year, in up to 10 years in imprisonment, fine of up to $50,000 or both fine and imprisonment, restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. For counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, murder in the first degree, maximum penalties, life in prison or the death penalty. Fine of up to $50,000 for both fine and life in prison or the death penalty. Restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. Also, additional fine of up to $5,000 to be paid directly to the victim's families. If you are found guilty or plead guilty on each charge, and the maximum sentences are imposed consecutively, that means one right after the other, you could be facing 10 years in prison, followed by 4 consecutive life sentences or death penalties.
Anytime you have more than one victim, a court typically sentences each victim consecutively because they have to be accounted for according to the law. So even though it might be one single course of conduct, if you have 4 victims who are specifically assaulted, murdered, or whatever, they have to be taken into account, and judges typically sentence them consecutively versus concurrently. Consecutive means one after the other. Concurrently means you do them both at the same time.
Fines of up to $200,000 and $20,000 to be paid directly to the families with any restitution resulting from the crimes. Okay. Mr. Koberger, do you understand the charge in count 1?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count?
You don't got to be here if you don't want to. We're going through a defense lawyer reacting. This is one of my favorite defense lawyers that's been on YouTube. I've been following him for going on 3 years now. So, I mean, so if you don't like it, you ain't got to be here. It's all right. Question: does the judge read names which they allegedly were murdered? They aren't in alphabetical order. I don't know. That's a different. I mean, I haven't heard it like that. I don't know how the parents went through this.
2, murder in the first degree.
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 3, murder in the...
Meanwhile, you're sitting next to a guy who just murdered 4 people. 4 people. Hard. That's just hard to wrap your head around. So if you're and there appears to be no real motive. Now keep in mind,
right?
He's presumed innocent. Okay, and we don't have to do that here because what are we doing? We're waxing philosophic. We're not in a court of law. So just because you're on my program and I'm doing this kind of crap, or our program, because I have to take into account our content genius, it doesn't mean that you get the presumption of innocence. However, this is a circumstantial case, and they have some really, really excellent police work that they did in this case. But we'll see what happens.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 5, murder in the first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Koberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing silent.
Because
that's not super common. I mean, maybe it's super common in Idaho, but when you say we're standing silent, well, the judge is forced to enter your not guilty plea. So, but I don't know what the benefit of that is. Maybe it's your client, doesn't want to speak, or you just don't want to be out there as saying someone's not guilty when you are, looking at such a serious case. I just don't know. I've been doing this 25 years, and I've never entered a silent plea.
Thank you.
Mr. Koberger is standing silent. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge. Counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, at this juncture, the state has 60 days to give notice of intention to seek the death penalty. And Mr. Koberger has a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy trial.
So you just heard the judge talk about capital murder and what they needed to show, or not, that the state has 60 days to give notice. Remember we saw that in Mellie, that they tried to get around the notice requirement and say that the state didn't give them notice to try to get death penalty off the table. In this case, the state's got 60 days to give notice. And then it usually has to be an aggravating factor. And believe me, in this case, there are aggravating factors. At the time the murder was committed, the defendant also committed another murder. So you've got 4 murders together. The defendant knowingly created a risk of...
I mean, I agree with that, Brianna. Everybody in chat, do you believe that Brian should have been shackled in court and chained up? Yes or no? Or you can break down why you think so. Either or. But yes or no, do you think Brian should have been shackled in that courtroom? Do you think that the cuffs should have been on him, etc.?
Of death to many persons. That's what we have here. The murder was committed for money. No, we don't have that. The murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. Probably, maybe not. The murder or circumstances surrounding the commission, the defendant exhibit utter disregard for human life. Definitely, that would be the case. The murder was committed in the perpetration or attempted to perpetrate arson, rape, robbery, blah, 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 other crimes. But anyway, so it just suffices to say there's got to be some aggravating circumstances. And the fact that you have 4 people killed are probably the most aggravating thing you could see. Idaho recently passed a law reinstating the firing squad, so death by firing squad. So that'll go into play July 1st. Unknown whether that would apply in this case, since the crime was committed prior to that. Whether it's lethal injection or firing squad doesn't really matter at that point, right? What's going to happen now, this will be the discovery phase. They'll be getting more and more discovery from the cops and from the prosecutor. And there's a couple of different things that go on. Number one, they're going to get that death penalty notice. When they get the discovery, they have to determine whether or not there's any violation of constitutional rights. In other words, if they took a statement without Miranda, if they searched the house without a warrant, if they obtain any of the evidence in violation of constitutional rights, then you file a motion as a defense lawyer to suppress. And now this is wide open to the public, so it's going to be on TV and it's going to be all over the place. So we'll continue to follow it. This is our reaction to Brian Koberger getting indicted on murder 1, 4 counts of murder 1, 1 count of burglary. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers with our content genius, Michael Rivers. We'll see you next time. Make sure you sign up for Patreon.
Make sure you show some love to Bruce Rivers. If you want to check out Bruce Rivers, make sure you go to Bruce Rivers' YouTube channel. He reacts to a lot of different cases, not just this case. He barely even This was the second video he's done on this case. The first one was way back when Brian got arrested. The second one, I think, is this one. It may be 3, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. If you guys want to call in, I'm about to open up the lines. Number is above me. Make sure you call in. Lines are open, 219-885-9693. And on top of that, everybody will get the same amount of time as I do every time. So let's see. There we go. Pull this over here. 219-885-9693. I got the phone lines open right now. Just opened them. It's off Do Not Disturb, and you can call in. I'll put it up to 7 minutes. 7 minutes. So there's that right there. Let's see. Yes. His feet with shackles. Trish D. Yes, Trish. It's all right. I didn't see your other comment following what I said, but it's all right. I have a feeling he will be moving forward now that officially charged. But yes, shackled. Definitely. Yes. Of course, he's a friggin' animal. If nobody calls in, I'm just gonna open up the panel and let people come up. I'll do it that way too. If nobody calls in, I'm just gonna open up the panel. Either way. So yes. I sure do. I thought it was crazy that he wasn't given the charges. Yeah, I know, right? I thought he was on ankles. No, because he is innocent until proven guilty, says Judy. 903, you on with me? What's going on? 903, you can hear me?
Hey, brother, I barely hear you.
What's going on? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, bet. What's going on, man? You got 7 minutes.
Man, it's Pat Gordon calling from Texas again, brother.
Shout out to you, brother. How you doing? How you doing, man? You there?
Man, they should have had leg irons on his bitch ass. He should have been cuffed. He should have had a spit cuff covering his head, everything else. They should have kept him covered. You know, I don't believe he shouldn't have been able to walk in there like that. But I did have a question. I was trying to get a hold of you earlier today.
Okay.
When they're reading these charges, do you know if they are doing it in the order that they think that happened?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I mean, I think they just read what's written on paper first.
Man, I could swore I read that somewhere before. They read the order of the charges. Of course, you know, they started with the burglary, of course, first.
Okay, good. I'm glad you paid attention. That's a good point out.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, man, that's been bothering me all day. I've been trying to remember your address, you know, to get a hold of you and get that question out of there. Maybe Detective John would know for sure. I mean, I don't know state to state, you know.
Yeah, state to state. I'm not sure with Idaho. I don't know if that's the order that they were murdered in, but I mean, it could it be possibly?
Yeah, and also some people were pointing out earlier when they mentioned Xana's name, you could see the muscles in his jawbone flex. I noticed that myself. You could see the muscles in his jawbone flex.
Richard, you ain't got to be here either, buddy. This ain't the old trap. This the new trap. Bye.
What'd he say? Let's see. What'd he say?
Just dumb shit like other people always do.
Go jumping off.
This ain't the old trap. You should be open to every opinion. Yeah, I should be open to letting you come up here and create suspects. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here! There you go, dog. Hey, but
that's
anyway,
how much I care.
Yeah, but yeah, I was curious about that, man. I've read somewhere before where they read it, what they believe they charge in the order they believe the way things happen.
Right.
So the other night I was half-assed asleep when I called you, man. I was sitting here, I don't know what time it was, about 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and But I said, hell, I'm gonna call him and find out, about this. I'm glad you come on. I've been waiting for you to come on today.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was coming on tonight. I woke up late. I was up all night looking around and just hanging out. I don't know. I ain't been able to sleep.
Yeah, me either, man. The last 2 nights, dude. I've been just tossing and turning, man. But and what's the deal with this? With the stuff with his mom and dad, man? This come out of left field.
Yeah, and it's on that the Dana case that's in Pennsylvania. That's wild, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. That happened in May of 2022, right?
Yeah, hold on. I'll have to look it up. The actual date that Dana, what was it? Dana Smithers. The date that she was actually, it was May 2nd, or not May 2nd, my bad. It says right here. Let me pull it up because I was just reading the whole entire shit. It was May 28th, 2022, her disappearance. I've seen about it, but I paid no mind really until I heard about this grand jury indictment. So I was like, or not, they're going in front of a grand jury up there in Pennsylvania tomorrow. So right. Michael and Marianne Kohlberger will be going in front of the grand jury there. So for the May 28th, 2022 disappearance, they're saying that he allegedly has a alibi, or I don't know. I mean, that's just rumor to me so far, but who knows?
Yeah, rumors are like assholes. Everybody's got one, brother.
Exactly. But, that's why I wait for it to come out.
Okay. Now, do we know when he comes from Pennsylvania to Idaho?
When he went to Pennsylvania from Idaho?
Yeah. Or
moved there?
When he left Pennsylvania to Idaho.
I want to say it was back in 2022. What was it? Not August. Maybe I think it was August. I could be wrong. I remember him going there and starting. It wasn't. Hold up. I know it was in 2022.
Right. Well, that's what I was trying to figure out that timeline too. I wasn't real sure on that, brother.
I have it in my notes. I have the whole entire timeline in my notes as far as when he went there, when he wasn't. It's on my other computer in my bedroom. But yeah, definitely he got there in 2022. It was around summertime. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. Okay. What, you don't know if John's going to be on or not tonight?
Detective John? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, if you can remember to ask him if the order that they read that the charges are if they're in that order or not.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow or another, seems like from when I worked at the prison, it seems like it was done that way, and I found out somehow or another, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not. A lot of people are saying March, some saying June. That Brian Kohlberger had got there. I mean, it's all over the place. Like I said, I got a timeline written down. I'm not sure about the date, though, as far as when he actually first got there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be highly possible that he did do that and, and then come to Idaho and do what he did there.
See, a lot of people think what I just said. August. So I see a lot of August. I see a lot of June. I see it's mixed. I found what I found in some reports, and I took that down, and I was like, okay, he got here. Then I have a whole entire timeline written down. I need to transfer my damn folder over to this computer, though. It has all the PDFs from every hearing that he had, all that shit. Pictures from the beginning, all the different mask and doorbell cams everybody sent me, the Banfield, all that shit.
Right.
But I calling. I'm gonna take some more phone calls, brother. If Detective John calls, then I'll definitely ask him about that. I'll remember that question, and I'm gonna ask him for you anyways.
Yeah, please do, brother.
I absolutely will. I'm gonna ask him. So you want to know verbatim before I get off here with you? You want to know if the order that he read everything, the judge, is that the order that they were taking out this world in, and also, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
I got you.
Correct.
I'm gonna ask him for you. I'll text that over to him and definitely get that answer for you.
That'll work, brother.
No doubt, brother. God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful night, man. It was good hearing from you again.
You too, man. Looking good on TV there too.
Thank you, brother. If you think of anything else, feel free to call back.
I'll do it, man.
God bless you, sir.
You too, brother.
Thank you. 219-885-9693. There it is. Lighten up. I recognize this number. Like, you know, one of those numbers you just recognize. 479. What's going on? You're live.
Hey, man. How's it going?
I knew I recognized that number, Robert.
Yeah, buddy.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm all right, man.
How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, dude. I'm feeling great. I'm sick and tired of seeing Kohlberger's face. I really am. I don't like the motherfucker at all. I think his silent plea, you know, I mean, he was for the last 4 months he's been sitting in his cell, you know, and hearing, watching TV or whatever on his little laptop, and hearing people go, I wonder if he's going to plead guilty. I wonder if he's going to plead innocent. And he gets in there and goes, hey, let's just not say anything. That'll really fuck him up, won't it? You know, that kind of thing. And I bet he went back to his jail cell, sat down, smiled at himself, patted himself on the shoulder. Boy, I sure showed them a thing or two, huh? Fuck you, dude. I can't stand that motherfucker. I really can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
I hear you.
I just don't like the guy. As far as I'd seen some people talking about him being in restraints and stuff and security or the lack thereof. And I think that the courthouse is inside the same building that the jail is. So there's plenty of security, if anything, to keep people from getting into the court. But, and, you know, Mr. Gonsalves, I wouldn't want to mess with the guy, to be honest with you, but I think, you know, he's shows enough restraint to where he wouldn't just pop off and, you know, try and attack Kohlberger. He wants to see this to the end. And he's already got a team set up. So, you know, I think the security is perfect. I think he should be shackled. I think he should be chained and, you know, everything else. But anyway, I think, again, I think this case has been kind of a clusterfuck from the very beginning, you know, with the press wanting to keep everything quiet or the court wanting to keep everything quiet. And now we got a judge by the name of Judge. And if that just doesn't fucking put the icing on this three-ring circus, nothing else will. What the fuck?
Robert, I agree. Do you, now, I have a question for you as somebody who just views and watches different content surrounding this case in general. Do you think that this, you know, grand jury indictment or grand jury that his parents are, you know, going to talk to tomorrow in Pennsylvania, do you think that he allegedly might be involved in some other cases, or just as a person looking at this case and you read everything that you know now, do you think that Kohlberger was possibly, you know, or has, you know, developed himself as a serial killer, allegedly?
I think he's dirty. Okay. I think he's a fucking evil little fucking prick that needs to die. That's what I think. I think he's a weird motherfucker. He would definitely not fit in with my clique. That's for sure. We would have beat his ass a long fucking time ago. But yeah, I think if somebody like yourself, if you said, hey, dude, do you think he might have gotten dirty fingers somewhere else? Yeah, sure. I think they want to know from his parents, hey, did you know so and so, and what was he like, and you know, yeah. I think they might try and get him for something else.
Man, I appreciate you calling in, Robert. I haven't heard from you a while. I was getting scared I'd never hear from Robert again, man, for that daily dose of you know, good energy, and it was great hearing from you, brother.
Yeah, man, you'll always hear from me. I mean, it's summertime now. It's out here in Arkansas anyway, and I like working with wood crafts and stuff. So I gotta, you know, bring in the income somehow or another. You know.
How's the pup doing, man?
Man, they're great. They're great. They crack me up, man. My little girl dog, she cracks me up.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad you're getting out there and doing shit, man. You said Arkansas, right?
Yeah, buddy.
That's awesome. Has it been cold or what?
No, it's been hot and humid.
Hot and humid. Woo!
Hot and humid.
What's
Come on, visit, man. We got room for you.
No doubt, brother. God bless. I'll tell you what, out here it's been bipolar. Cold one day, hot the next. You know?
Yeah. I lived up in Minnesota for 18 years, you know, and I'd been to Duluth a couple of times, and one of the channels I like watching up there is some guy, he likes being at the lift bridge out there when the big ships come through. And, it's like, well, he throws a video up today and, he's talking about it being 45 and sunny skies. And the next day, it's, the ground's covered in snow. I'm like, damn, dude. I'm glad I moved south.
Wow. That's
But
cool.
yeah, dude, love you like always, and thanks for having me on your show again tonight. Thanks for taking my phone call.
No problem, brother. We'll do an open panel again. I know you come up when I do it. I'll definitely have you come up again. I definitely want to get an open panel going again and have it more. How do I say this here? Have it more developed to where people aren't talking over each other, and there's a little bit more structure to an open panel that more than what it was last time with people talking over each other. And people this, that, and the third. We'll never have it like that again, but I'll restructure that, and then when I do open it, I'll definitely have you up, Robert. God bless you, man. I hope you have a wonderful night.
God bless you too, man. Love you.
Love you back, man. Shout out to Robert. He's been here for a while. Shout out to that guy. Amazing. 219-885-8693. Oh, wow. Again, 864, you're in the door. What's going on? You're live.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. What's going on?
Hey. I'm calling because I have a couple of things that I haven't heard anybody mention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the chef guy that lives in the neighborhood where the kids lived?
Yeah.
He does rap and stuff like that. What if I don't know whether he's innocent or guilty, Brian Koberger. I'm not sure yet. I think he's guilty, but I'm not positive. But what if the dumbass was in that neighborhood because he knows Enan or however you say his name, and they were doing drugs together because he said he used to shoot up too.
How long?
And what if the tower pinged because he was there doing drugs?
Have you watched my channel since? How long you been watching my channel?
I watch it as often as I can, probably like twice a week.
No, I mean how long though? Like since when did you start?
Like about 2 months.
So you probably seen videos on Enan or people talked about him.
Yeah, I did. I've seen a lot of them. I saw an interview on another thing that one of the women channels, or whatever you call it, YouTube channels, had with him, and I wasn't buying his bullshit.
Yeah, did you go back?
They seemed to think he was so wonderful, but I'm like, you were shooting up dope, and you were being an asshole too. I mean, you can't be. And when he got stopped by the police car, and they had when the woman police officer stopped him a couple of years ago, and do you want to see my cat or something like that? They also
yeah. That's weird, right?
Well, I think there's something up with him. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that he's not totally innocent in the whole thing. And another point I want to make too. I don't mean any disrespect to any of the kids. It was disgusting what happened to them.
Absolutely, yes.
But the girls were very provocative on their Snapchat and all that stuff that they were on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think by any chance that he could have been somebody that they might have escorted, like dated? I'm not saying the full, Monty thing. I'm just saying, like, they might have let, like, dorky guys pay them to take them out and go out for a while. And do you think maybe, like, even the surviving girls, do you think any of them could have been? Because I dated a bouncer at a titty bar. Excuse me, I don't know what you want to call it.
No,
and he told me that where there's drugs, there's sex, and where there's sex, there's drugs. And it just makes me wonder that, there was more to that house than I think we know. I think everybody kind of suspects that there's more to it.
I mean, there's people that definitely suspect it. It's been suspected the whole time. And,
yeah.
And so I want to say this. It's like, damn, if that is the case, why is it not in paperwork about drugs yet? You know what I mean? It's just,
I don't know. I don't know.
Speculate it, but I don't really speculate them being like a super drug house or anything. When I speculate on those college kids in general, I speculate smoking weed and drinking. That's what I speculate.
And like doing friends favors, like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up a little something, but don't tell anybody kind of deal.
Never. I have to really see it to know. If I see it, I'll be like, yeah, that's.
And you know what, too? There's so much bullshit going on out here. All these people have all these ideas of what's going on, and it's probably going to surprise all of us when we figure out what really happened.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not saying he's innocent though. But I'm wondering if he was set up by other people too to be the dumbass to take the whole blame for it. You know what I mean, sort of?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're saying.
I don't know though.
I've seen
He's pretty conceited though. I don't know if he would let somebody boss him around about that.
I've seen people of the kind that you just explained. I've seen people like that. I used to live around people like that and see them.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so I mean,
I lived in Newark, New Jersey.
I'm just saying that when
when
I compare them to the people that I've been around, I just don't.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't really see it yet until I get to see it in paper, because some people can hide shit. You wouldn't never believe anything, right? So I would,
and definitely not hardcore.
Right. I mean,
college stuff, it goes on all the time. I smoked pot when I was in high school and drank more than I should. You know, a lot of people go through that phase. They're still growing up. They're still kids.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're drug dealers.
Absolutely. So
and this crazy chick, wait a minute, this crazy chick that was saying all this stuff, I forget her name now. Kim? Oh my God. Where the hell did they get her?
Weird.
I don't know.
That's a weird case. I mean, I don't talk about it no more when it comes to.
No, I didn't mind. I didn't mean to like drag up the whole thing. I just, man, holy shit. And I've tried to call you before and I could never get through. So this is like, woohoo.
I'm glad you got through.
Yeah. And one more question before I hang up.
Go ahead. Yes.
Do you think maybe this woman that was killed in one of the women, there are two women, one of the women that was killed that they just found recently, do you think her ID could be in that glove that they found? Because they said the two IDs were not of the victims in Idaho.
That's a great. I did see some reports on that, and I wonder what IDs were found. That's what I want to know. I don't know.
They said two IDs were found in a glove that he was hiding when they did the search.
I seen it.
But they won't say whose it is. But they did say it wasn't the victims from Idaho. But isn't that kind of a coincidence that now all of a sudden there's a grand jury in Pennsylvania calling the parents that lived in the house where the glove was found?
So I see what you're saying. You're saying maybe he took it as like a trophy?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could see something like that if that's the case, for sure. I mean, I thought about that earlier when I seen that the parents were at this little grand jury tomorrow. Like, thought that hit my head was, damn, is one of those IDs to a victim case allegedly?
Because why do they want to talk to his parents of all the parents in all of Pennsylvania? You know, it's sort of like, kind of.
That shit made me think about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know. Who knows? Well, my time is almost up, so I guess I should say goodbye and thank you very much.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you for actually having the balls to call up and share what you're feeling.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And hey, good luck with Sosa tomorrow.
Thank you, ma'am. I apprete you.
All right, honey.
Lock your doors and be safe.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
219-885-9693. I see the chat got a little upset. You know, I got upset for the victims too, because we don't know what they've done. We don't know if any of that stuff is going on, but people speculate that shit. 412 Pittsburgh. 412 is going on. Pittsburgh in the building?
It's me, T-REV.
Pittsburgh, right?
Yep, you got it.
That's the Pittsburgh family in the building. What's going on? 7 minutes, the floor is yours. What's your thoughts? Where's your mind at?
Okay, T-REV. I talked to you back in December before Brian was even caught. And I just haven't been able to catch your live. And I just got to get something off my chest, and I need to talk to you about it. Haven't heard anybody say anything remotely to what's going on in my mind, right?
Okay.
So, in the very beginning, we heard Xana's mother. You don't hear too much from Xana's mom or her dad, okay? But back then, Xana's mother said that her father went over to change the locks like a week before. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then this whole time, obviously something was going on with Xana's mother, because she was then arrested for drugs a week after the murder, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did it ever occur to anybody that maybe all these times that Brian was going to this house or being seen in the area of this house, was he going there for drugs? Now, I'm not saying anything bad about these kids at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing. But how do we not know Xana wasn't you know, like, hey, I could get to something. You know what I mean? Maybe she befriended him at the restaurant that she worked at or whatever, you know. Maybe she was hooking Brian up with some drugs, okay? Or Brian was supplying her with drugs or whatever. Maybe Brian was selling drugs for her mother. And her mom was in so much trouble that maybe the drug activity just stopped. He couldn't get any more drugs, or maybe they owed him money. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Interesting
I
point.
just really seriously think, I mean, as a mother, I just think there has to be a reason why this happened. Okay?
Yeah, I see. I see exactly how you're looking at it. Yep.
So then, I'm thinking this for months. Okay?
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, they bring in this DoorDash driver. Okay? And what was her name?
The DoorDash. I don't know. People say that the DoorDash driver was Emma, and I've heard a bunch of different names.
Okay, just say Emma, who's also in the drugs, and her boyfriend, if it's her boyfriend, also in the drugs. Wonder if maybe Brian owed them money. You know what I mean? And maybe this girl did go as the DoorDash to make sure that they were home. You know, and then Brian came in from the back door while she was keeping whoever answered the door busy downstairs. But I really do think everybody thinks that he was sexually attracted to these girls and they were turning him down and this and that. I don't think Kaylee was. I don't think she was a target. I honestly think that Zana was the target. Zana's parents are keeping quiet on it. You know what I mean? And I think those other girls, I think the survivors knew. I think they knew who he was and was scared to death to say anything. I think I don't know if Brian did it. I know he did it, but did he do it by himself?
I see what your question.
Did he do it by himself? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best shows on TV ever to hit TV.
I honestly do not think. I mean, seriously, the guy's almost 30 years old. If he lived without a girlfriend this long, is he really going to kill for one? And he was a drug addict.
It's all real. It's all good questions. It's all really good questions and things that, you know, other parents may think and some may not. It depends how you grew up and how you live life. But yeah, I definitely understand your point, and I see why people question drugs.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said I see why people question drugs, but
yeah,
the thing that I don't get is I never heard anything like as far as friends speaking out. Nobody ever talks about, well, yeah, you know, she was doing drugs hardcore, but we were trying to support her. I never hear anything. I always hear, well, she was doing good. She was in college. She graduated. I never hear, you know, the bad.
They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous.
Right.
Those friends aren't going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything bad. I don't want to say anything bad about these kids. I mean, they're kids. I'm not saying they were hardcore drug dealers. You know what I mean? I think that it was easy for her to get, you know, easy money to make. I'm not saying she did it all the time. You know what I mean? It was just like maybe distribute to friends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think this all has to do with drugs. And then why the roommates didn't call the cops right away is because they knew who did it. They knew exactly who did it. They knew exactly what they were after. And they had to make sure that those damn drugs were out of the house to make sure that those kids still look good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Without us not knowing everything, without us not knowing everything, anything's a possibility until we know it.
I just want to know, why did Santa's dad go over and change the locks a week before? There obviously was a problem.
I'd say because there's a lot of people at the house.
You know, a week before.
Mm-hmm.
But it so happens to be a week before. I think there was some serious crap going on. I think the mother probably couldn't get any drugs, or she owed somebody money, you know. And
with Steve being so vocal like he is, do you think that he would just not say, you know, I know she was a drug dealer and that got my kid killed? You know, I just would expect outrage from one of the victims' families, and especially Steve being as vocal as he is. I would expect that it probably came out a while ago, but maybe that's why he got. You never know. You know, he snapped.
That's what I was thinking too, you know, and I'm like, well, there are some people that like to give the benefit of the doubt and think that, you know, this stuff can't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And,
No, there's definitely, I mean, drugs is a big problem in the United States, everywhere.
and it makes them do some stupid stuff, you know?
Yeah, no
It
doubt.
just makes them do stupid stuff.
There ain't no doubt about that.
It's crazy. I mean, you know, I'm from Pittsburgh, and there's shootings every single day. And you know what it's over? Drugs.
Yep. Same here in Chicago, Virginia.
Teenager kids. You know, it's like, why? They have absolutely no value of life. You know what I mean? No value of life whatsoever.
No doubt. No doubt.
But I don't know. I think with there being absolutely no evidence, Brian being in the criminal, you know, the criminal background knows, you know, I don't know. I think maybe Brian said, you know, I don't know. I don't know if maybe Brian said, I could go get your money, you know, or I'll help you out get your money, or who knows? Maybe he was set up. Maybe he did do the killings and some. I just don't know. But as far as the knife thief, I think he just had it in his hand and he just dropped it, you know, and just forgot to pick it up.
Yeah,
you know, but I don't understand why there couldn't be any more fingerprints on it unless he put it on before he got there, you know. But that was a dumb mistake. But whatever it is, grand jury has them, so there's a lot more evidence that we don't know about that. They're not going to take somebody to the grand jury if they don't have evidence.
Exactly.
You know?
That's how I look at it. Well, I appreciate you calling. It's been 7. I'm going to give some more people some time, but I appreciate you calling.
I just had to get that off my chest because I've never heard anybody with that theory ever. And I'm like, why is nobody thinking about this? You know?
Right.
I think Xana's mom may have a part to do with it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I'll definitely be looking for it. I'm waiting for some more stuff to come out to fill these gaps in that we have holes in as far as the story, you know, the backstory on why. Because some people just choose to do things out of pure because they're psychopaths and people have motives.
With him being silent and stuff, maybe he knows he didn't do this by himself. And maybe at the last minute, he's going to open up his mouth.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll find out.
Maybe he had to do it, or he would be killed himself.
He better get to singing soon, because October is right around the corner. I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna open up the lines.
Okay, you take care, T-REV.
God bless you, man. You have a wonderful night. Lock your doors and stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, man. 619-885-9693. I just haven't heard nothing about no drugs yet. I've heard about all the drug talk from as far as speculation, but nobody from the families have screamed drugs yet. You figure one of them would. She's getting pretty far out there, hypothesis or not. True. If there was any drugs running through that house, the only thing, in my opinion, would be weed. I would be very angry. Or be very angry. I take that as angry. No way a drug dealer would have just shot them. Drugs or no drugs, no one needs to go out that way. Agreed. Whether there's drugs or drugs, exactly. This caller is making my city look bad. Next, damn.
Oh my God.
219-885-9693 lines are open. Go ahead. I just opened them. My bad. I didn't have them open. I'm an idiot. I was reading. 424, you're in the door. What's going on?
Go ahead. I just opened them. My bad. I didn't have them open.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. What's going on? You're live. 7 minutes
Oh
before
my
0.
gosh, this is people keep making up all these stories about drug trafficking and drug this and drug. He is a psychopath. There's a reason. It's not about the drugs. It's about this guy is a psychopath. This guy has got a problem. You know, he targeted them for a reason, and it wasn't because of drugs. It's not that simple. It's because to me that's simple. That's like, okay, it's because of drugs. No, he's a psychopath. It's obvious. They have so much information on him that we don't know about. He probably targeted them because he frequented the area. He was already They said he was hooking up to the Wi-Fi. We don't know all the details. We don't know the details. But I believe it's much more complicated than, because to me, to say like the previous caller says, oh, it was all about drugs. No, it's not about the drugs. No.
Yeah, that's why I just don't believe drugs yet.
I live in Los Angeles. If that was the case and that's how drug dealing went down, half of Los Angeles would be dead. You know, that's not the way it works. It's not like that. He's a psychopath. This is somebody who has like a dream. You know, he wanted to kill people. He's a psychopath. Bad timing. I don't know when their paths crossed, but he must have latched onto one of those 4 people, observed them, saw them, and decided to follow them. And that's how he got information on where they lived and what they did.
It's kind of, you know, this kind of reminds me of the Axe Velisca back in the day, where a guy went into the house and killed, I think, 9 people in total. Or
right.
8, maybe 8. I think it was 6 kids and 2 adults.
Right.
He went in with an axe and killed them all in their sleep, etc., hid in the attic or whatever. But, you know, they had their suspicions on who it was, but never captured him. But, it was one person in the same axe. And
it's to me, it's very clear that he is a psychopath. This is not anything to do with anything personal in terms of business and drugs and this and that. No. This is something beyond that. He's a psychopath. I don't know. I mean, we're going to find out hopefully we'll find out how he crossed paths with one of the 4 people that he murdered. And that's where he got the lead to say, okay, I'm going to follow them and I'm going to see that. This is the perfect opportunity. It's a busy house. The house has people coming in and out. He probably thought, you know what, this is the perfect place to murder. You know, as a psychopath, this is the perfect place to murder. There's people coming in and out. Nobody will know who it was in his stupid mind. That's what I think. I called you the other day too because I was talking to you about. I really believe I believe that they've got the guy. I don't believe they've made a mistake. Number 1. Number 2, I believe he's already committed murders, but they haven't been caught. They haven't been discovered. They haven't. You know, I truly believe nobody can go into one house and murder 4 people. I mean, I suppose it's good. It can happen, like with BTK. If you know anything about BTK.
Yeah, no, I've seen now as of recently, everything came out. I've seen a lot more and more and more about BTK. So I just started looking into it, watching little documentaries types of stuff.
Yeah, right.
You know, he took the same stance. He took the same stance. He took the same stance as BTK in court.
Right. BTK was one of the most upstanding community citizens. You never would have thought this. You never would have thought it. This is a serial killer. I believe he's killed other people. I do not believe that this is the first time. He's just gotten caught. You know, he thinks he's always smarter because he's always playing the humble pie. You know, humble. I'm the humble professor. I'm the humble, intelligent guy. I'm the nerd. Who's going to suspect me? No, your game is over, dude. You're not the nerd anymore. You're not the humble guy. You got caught. That's his game. That was his game. You know, just look at the videos of him talking to the police officers, how he looks so like such an upstanding citizen and talking about his ticket and how he was in the middle of the intersection. And it just, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the look from that video compared to the other body cam video footage was like two total different Bryans to me from what I'm just looking at on video. One, you caught him where he was talking to the officer, he was driving, he talked to her, but then you catch him when he was in the car with his dad. It just looked like a somebody that got caught, like a deer in the headlights. That's what it looked like to me compared to the first.
Yeah, like he's just a simple guy. He's just a smart, little, intelligent guy that got caught running a red light. No, you're not. You're a psychopath.
I see a lot of opinions. I see a lot of opinions similar to yours and mine. I mean, mine's a little different. I just think I honestly just do think he was a psychopath. You see the weird like smile nods and shit he was doing to his.
Yes, and people keep saying, "Oh, but he's a vegetarian. Why would he?" People could be vegetarians for reasons that have nothing to do with ethics. Nothing to do with ethics. You can be a vegetarian because you don't like the taste of meat.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you're an animal advocate, right?
Absolutely.
I have a son. I have 4 adult kids. I have one that can't stand the taste of meat. He won't eat meat. He's not an animal advocate. He's not into animal saving. He just doesn't like the way it tastes, so he doesn't like it. He doesn't want it on his plate. He doesn't want it to touch his food. He doesn't want it, like, but people are so gullible. Like, people are, I'm amazed at how many people in this world are so gullible. They're so stupid. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
my son doesn't eat meat. You know why he doesn't eat meat? Because he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the way it tastes. He doesn't care. He could care less about how the cows are treated. It's not about that for him. It's about not eating the meat because he doesn't like the way it tastes. That could be his trip. That could be his problem. It could have nothing to do with compassion.
You're right. You got a point there. I've been with a vegan before, so I know. I kind of I've seen some shit.
Yes. There's vegans that are vegans because of the right reasons, and then there are vegans that are vegans because they don't like the way meat tastes. Their palate can't handle it. They don't like it, and it has nothing to do with any kind of ethical things. It's just they don't like it. They don't like it.
Well,
and that could be him. That could be him because he's, if this guy's a psychopath, he's probably got a bunch of. I'm a registered nurse, and I've worked in psych before, so he's probably got a bunch of DSM diagnosis. He's probably got a bunch of diagnosis on compulsive OCD.
I'm waiting for all that to come out too.
Yes.
I appreciate. I don't mean to cut you short, but I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna get some more callers, and I know a lot of people want to talk. I see a bunch of people calling right now. God bless you, man. Thank you for calling in and sharing your voice in the community. I appreciate you. Lock your doors.
All right, bye-bye.
God bless. Shout out to her. 219-885-9693. Shout out to her though. She had a lot more to say. If you want to call back, feel free to call back. Anyone. You get through, you get another. I don't care who you are. 951. I hope you don't got a gun. What's going on?
I got 2 of them, brother.
What's going on, Papa Sal? 7 minutes before yours, pal.
Okie dokie.
What's going on? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I wish you luck with Sosa tomorrow. I really do. I wish Sosa handles it like a champ. I'm sure he will.
Absolutely.
Hey, when he got pulled over, just to go with that lady, he looked perfectly fucking normal to me.
Yeah.
He looked perfectly fucking normal. He talked normal. I guess he tried to get out of the ticket like we all would. We all would try to get out of the ticket, play dumb. Oh, I didn't know the law. I didn't know. To me, he looked perfectly fucking normal.
I thought the same thing.
With this new thing that's come out, with these people being killed in Pennsylvania, or they're finding bodies, I really don't have anything to say about that yet, because, it's only natural that that's the way we're going to look at it. You know, oh wow, they found bodies in Pennsylvania, and Numbnuts was in Pennsylvania at that time.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You know, I don't know. You know that it kind of makes sense about the pictures. If he's got pictures of girls, 2 pictures, and they weren't from the house, you know.
The
if he
idea,
did do
right?
it, yeah. If he did do it, I mean, there you go. If they find some kind of evidence, he's fucked. Because now they got the pictures too. You know, I think he's playing it pretty fucking slick. You know, I really do. I think him and his lawyers are putting their heads together between what he knows about the law, what she knows about the law, and they're coming up with these things that, again, blow us away all the time. You know, I was expecting him to jump on the table and say, Your Honor, I'm not fucking guilty. I'm not fucking guilty. I didn't do this. Nah. This fucking pricks was silent. You know, I didn't say anything. It just fucking blew me away. I was shocked.
Yeah, they didn't plead through or not. It was just a complete silence.
Right. He didn't even say he was pleased. He made her get up and say it.
Well, the thing wasn't too, and do you understand? Yes. But you know, when it came to the plea part, it was just complete silence, and I mean that just spoke volumes to me already. But I already think that he did it, so it doesn't matter. I'm biased.
Yeah.
I think Bryan Kohberger's allegedly.
Me too.
And this farther solidifies why I think it's him. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, me too.
I'm free. I freely say it. I don't really care. I think Bryan Kohberger committed this crime by himself with no help. If he did have help, I will be baffled and I'll stand on it. But at this point, I don't think he even had help.
Me too. I feel the same fucking way. All these fucking assholes. There were 6 people involved. There were 3 inside, 3 outside. Oh, fuck yourself. Really, lady? Are you out of your mind? Really? 6 people? I hope she's listening, the bitch.
I respect people who are questioning these 8 hours and all these different things, but people creating other suspects when there's no other suspects being talked about at this point. It's just ridiculous. I say that every live. I'm off that. I'm on the what's in front of us phase. What's in front of us? Everything that's in front of us is very telling to me.
Yep, absolutely. And he was the only one that did it. And I have a new little theory here that I was thinking about. You got a minute? What do I got? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Let me slap the microphone out of your fucking hand. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I got one.
All right. I believe he went downstairs first, took care of Ethan and Xana. Went upstairs, did what he did upstairs. Then when he was coming down, he heard the crying. Okay, he heard the crying. He never really finished Xana in the room. He went back into the room and said, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." To her. She was crying. I think that's the way it went. But again, you know, like you, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I definitely think he was the only one that did this. And he's a fucking psycho, you know. And I don't really try to go by his looks because even when he was in court yesterday, to me, sometimes he looks like a college student. He doesn't look like that fucking monster. But we have this image of him slaughtering these girls. And he's got those weird fucking eyes and shit. We tend to think, yeah, this motherfucker's a killer. But hey, let me tell you something real quick about Ian, that guy Ian Harsh, whatever the fuck his name is, that psycho. You know, when this first came out, I thought it was him too. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was Ian because he's showing you videos of him swinging swords and knives in the air. You ever see these videos of him fucking swinging knives and swords in the air?
Seen it.
Motherfucker's crazy, right? Well, I could just see him in that house fucking swinging those fucking blades and shit and slicing them up, you know? But as time went by, as time went by, I realized this guy's fucking useless. He's no good. Not even the cops want to talk to him no more, you know? The fucking hippie. He's a hippie. Sick fuck, but and he had the bushy eyebrows too. That kind of locked me in, you know?
Yeah, but there's no proof that dude's a killer.
No, I know.
You know, there's proof that he was bullshitting though and changing his messages or like his status on Facebook and all that.
Yeah, he kept changing his stories. And I know. It had me going in the beginning. Not now. I believe it was Brian. Absolutely 1,000%. Go ahead. I know my time is up.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, Papa Sal. Sounds like you done your pill bottle tops popped off there, brother.
No, I took a sip. I figured let me take a sip because my mouth is getting dry there.
You know.
But I could see I could see the pill bottles unscrewing the tops for me to say, Papa Sal, come on. It's time. It's time. Shut this fucking bozo off on your TV and let's fucking go to bed. You know?
Yeah, I know. I hear that. Well, God bless you.
Hey, I just want you to know real quick. I ain't gonna let this slide. I got your back. Okay? I got your back. I'm here to take the fucking knives out of your fucking back. Okay?
I appreciate you.
I got your back. I love you, brother.
I love you too, pal.
All right.
Love you, pal. I love you. I'll talk to you, man. God bless you. I hope you sleep well. I know that AMVN's calling your name, pal.
Absolutely.
9:06 p.m. I mean 10 p.m. where you're at. I know your eyelids are probably closing for you.
Oh yeah. Between looking at this fucking phone and knowing it's 10 p.m., I want to go to fucking bed. My eyes are killing me.
God bless you, Papa. So I hope you sleep good, man. I'll talk to you in the morning or whenever I open my eyes.
I'll talk to you soon, brother.
God bless you, pal. Love you. Shout out to Papa Sal, man. 219-885-9693. See, back there in New York, I called up T-REV, you know. My name's Papa Sal. 509, you're on the line. What's going on?
Hey, it's Spokane Valley.
How you doing, man? God bless you. You're live. You got 7 minutes. What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, that phone call about Xana really got me angry.
Yeah. So the phone. You said the phone call about Xana. What? Talking about her mom and the drugs.
Yeah, I watched Xana grow up.
Oh wow. Okay. You got my attention.
Well, she was a gymnast, and she was in the gym all the time. Very athletic. Started when she was young. Had no relationship with her mom. Was a daddy's girl. Oh, God, I'm going to start crying.
It's okay. Take your time. I know how emotional it can be. You take your time. Take your time.
She was friends with my granddaughters.
Oh, wow.
This girl wouldn't hurt a fly. She worked hard in the gym. She worked hard at her grades. She worked hard at her job to get extra money to pay for college. And people are calling her druggy.
Yeah.
And we live in the area where you can drive right across the border and you can get weed and drive right back into Idaho. All day long, people are driving back and forth, back and forth. They get their vapes, and then they go back. And I can tell when Xana started college, she started doing marijuana and drinking with her friends like normal college kids do. But she wasn't a drug dealer. She was working her ass off to pay for her college. She was a good girl. She didn't deserve this, and she doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. And people posting videos out there with the title, Xana the drug dealer.
Yeah, those
It
make
really
me angry.
pisses me off. It
Me
pisses
too.
me off. They have no proof.
I
And you
felt the same
can't
way.
falter.
Just like you're mentioning right now. I'm pausing the time for a second. Just like you're mentioning, you just said they have zero proof. I've yet to see proof that Xana has sold drugs either. You know what I mean? I've yet to see that. I've yet to see nobody has showed me anything besides accusations.
She's being punished for her mother. And she had no relationship with her mother. I did her hair for gymnastic for her meets because her mother wasn't there. This is a girl that was with her sister and her dad, and her mother unfortunately had a drug problem. But that does not make your child a drug addict. If anything, it makes you want to try harder to be not a drug addict.
Absolutely. I've been through that with my mom. So I can relate to that so much.
So when I go on there and I hear people accusing her of being some person that's making money off of drugs when I know for a fact that she wasn't, it really hurts. It hurts my granddaughters. It hurts me. It hurts the community that know her. And it's hard. This whole thing has been hard. There's a dark cloud over us right now that we've never known before. And when creators get out there and say things and even put it in there and then they put allegedly, I'm sorry, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Victim blaming. We call it victim blaming. It is very wrong, in my opinion. I don't agree with victim blaming, especially after there's been somebody arrested and allegedly, a grand jury indicted this guy. Like, why? And there's zero proof to anything that I've seen when it comes to Xana being a drug dealer. And I actually did get furious when I seen those videos come out. Like, why? Why are people saying that she was possibly this, that, and the third? Possibly and her being that are two different things.
Well, exactly. I'll tell you the life of a gymnast. You go to school, you come home, you eat, you do your homework, you're off to the gym, you come home, you finish your homework, you go to bed and rinse and repeat Monday through Friday. And then you have your meets coming up and then you travel. And sadly, I have on my page meets of Xana and my granddaughters where they traveled to Moscow, Idaho. And you think back at that, and I go back and watch that, and I thought, this is a girl that worked hard for what she had. She wasn't like Kaylee. She wasn't rich she didn't have a rich daddy like Kaylee. And I love Kaylee's dad. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But she worked for what she had. She worked hard. She was a good girl.
Wow.
And she didn't deserve what she got.
And what do you,
this is the first time I've gotten the courage to call. I have not called. I've watched you from the get-go. I love your show. I love your thinking. I love that you're open. I love your group. Y'all know me as Angel Girls 1980. I've been in there.
Oh.
It's the first time I've had the courage to call. But that one call, I'm sorry, I just have to say to that lady, I don't know what goes on in Pittsburgh, but what goes on here, it's not the same. Every place is different. Don't judge your city by our city.
I mean,
Don't
you know
judge
that
my Xana.
you're so close with her and have been known her since she was how old?
Oh, they started when they were 8. My granddaughter started in diapers, but they start competing at 8 years old.
Wow, so she was on a dance team?
No, gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
Even harder.
Wow.
It's even more difficult. The hours you put in, hour after hour after hour on the beams, the bars, the floor.
If you could
takes
tell us
incredible-
all, could you tell us
I'm
about
sorry?
Xana? I didn't mean to cut you off either. I just want you to tell the people about Xana and who she was as a person and what she stood for in life, so people can understand and get that part of who the victim is instead of understanding that she's just gone and not here. You know, we want to know who she was. We want to know what she was about in life and the things that she wanted to be. That's what we want to remember. We want to remember the good times, and you know what I mean, because I know that's what you're thinking of.
Xana was the type of girl that would befriend the girl that was sitting in the corner, alone and shy. Xana was the one that would laugh so loud you could hear from the one end of the gym to the other. Xana had a real zest for life. Xana was a sweet spirit. She was tough. If she fell off the beam, hurt herself, she just wanted to jump back on again. She wanted perfection. She got a 9.9 once, and everybody was happy for her. Her first gold medal. She worked hard. She loved life. She loved being outside. She loved being out on Lake Coeur d'Alene. She loved going to the lake. She loved camping. She loved being with her daddy. She loved being with her sister. She was a friend for life. She was a leader in her team. She helped other gymnasts that were having trouble. She cared. She was excited to go to college. She was the kind of person that you would want to have by your side if you were having a bad day. She loved my granddaughters, and they both were very shy and weren't quite as good as she was in gymnastics. They worked just as hard.
I don't know why I feel your emotion flowing through this phone, but I do.
She had a gift, and it was taken away. And now her daddy I just can't imagine the pain they're going through. And if they flip through YouTube and they see this stuff, it just tears my heart out. Just thinking that people are thinking that she's this drug dealer. She was working her ass off at the restaurant. My God. When would she have time to be doing this, the extracurricular activities, selling drugs? She was getting good grades. She was working. You know how hard it is to have a full-time schedule in college and work?
Yeah.
And Ethan, this is the kind of girl she was. And it's the same with my granddaughters, too. Ethan is her first love and first boyfriend. Her first love was gymnastics. And when you're in gymnastics, a lot of parents, they put their kids in through gymnastics to guide them away from drugs. And we suffer and we spend an exorbitant amount of money to get them into gymnastics, to keep them busy and healthy and away from the bad crowd. And that's how Xana grew up. So when she finally got to college and when she finally got transferred into cheerleading, and met Ethan, that was the first time she truly loved. And that was taken.
Was she still in gymnastics at this point, or what? Like, did she still fiddle around with it?
She was no longer competing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Xana growing up all the way up until high school.
As a baby, as a kid, as a child growing
As a baby, as a teenager. Yeah, all the way up until when she transferred into college.
Yeah, that shows why she would be at college like she deserved to be. And wow, she kept her nose clean and got to college and was following her dreams. I don't know what she wanted to be at all. Do you know any information on like what she was going to be, what she wanted to be? Business.
Yeah, I know she was really good at math.
That's what I want people to remember, the good things and not the things that are false.
I'm just sorry I called up a mess, but I've been watching you for months, and I've commented in there, and I've got slammed in comments everywhere, just trying to stand up for her, but tonight I just couldn't take it.
People can slam me in the comments all you want. People are going to. They're going to say anybody can be anyone, but I appreciate you calling up and sharing. Just knowing her.
I'm not a Kim. I
appreciate you.
And that woman, I'm sorry, I don't know what that woman was on, but I didn't I didn't like her either. But no, if anyone ever wants to challenge me, I've got the videos to prove it. But Xana doesn't deserve that.
Right.
So I want to thank you so much for all you do. And I really do respect your channel. I do. And I love the people in there. And when I'm in there, I get a lot of love. And I don't know what made me be brave enough to do it tonight. I just knew I would break down in tears.
I mean, it's not like you're calling me and pretending to know some type of crazy information. You're calling up and saying, hey, I was there. Her mother was not there. I was there. I seen her, go through gymnastics. I seen Ethan was her first love. You're not calling up and claiming inside details or spilling some type of weird, crazy accusations or anything like that. You're telling us who Xana was as somebody who knew her. Got nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And in fact, it emotionally touched me when you were speaking. I felt the emotion and my eyes got watery as hell.
Well, just remember her with a big smile, and I sure hope that justice is done and as quickly as possible, and of course fairly. But I have my opinion, and I know everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I felt the need tonight to speak for Xana.
I'm glad you did, because I felt it in my heart. I can't speak for everybody in the chat, but I felt it in my heart. That's why I paused the clock, because I want to hear. I don't want to clock you. I want to hear more about the victims. I love hearing the stories and reading the good on them instead of reading, all these puzzle pieces that people are trying to put together with the crime. It's good to know the individual and who they were as a person, why they were here, and they should always be remembered for that.
Yeah, they should. And yeah, thank you for the time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having the courage to call in, and feel free to always talk to anybody in the chat, or feel free to be people will. You're safe here. Just know that. What's your name in the chat?
You know me as Angel Girls 1980.
All right, let's just leave. Okay, so Angel, I will leave it at that. I'll make sure you're fine in the chat and nobody attacks you. And God bless you, and thank you for calling in, man.
Thanks for doing the show.
Thank you, man. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Lock your doors and stay safe.
Yeah, God bless you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Sure. Hold on, I just needed a breather for a second. I don't know. I felt from her, I just felt some emotional feeling. I don't know. I just felt as an empath, I felt that. I felt her being sad for sure, 100%. And then for her to talk about, you know, Xana as she was as a kid and growing up without her mom, etc. Man. D Smalls, I so feel for you. You should. I feel for that woman. Thank you, though, D Smalls. Thank you for describing Xana. I feel it too. Poor babies. They were babies. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. I respect it, man. There are babies too. A lot of you, because a lot of people that are in here that are watching are older, and that's fine. That's fine to feel that way. Carfro says, now I'm crying. A lot of emotions. Hello, Miss Sarah. Long time no see. Xana sounds like a leader, not a follower. This is the point. Those are real people, not characters. Not to write your own narrative. They have no voice now. Let's stand together and remember that. Absolutely. I agree with that. 219-885-9693. I'll take a couple more phone calls. It's almost so sweet that I wanted to end it there, you know? It's almost so sweet. Let's see. I'll let the chat decide. Man, it was so, it's like, you know when a live just ends and it's like that, you got to leave it on that note. That's what I felt like when I heard that phone call. What do you guys think? Let it out. Best call to date. Who's in the call, please? That was somebody that she just said it herself. I don't got to argue with people. I think the old girl was crazy, and I had footage of my daughter and Xana. You know what I mean? Like, so for anybody who wants to contest me, she spoke up, and I feel like she did a good job. She wasn't crying for attention. She wanted to speak for Xana, and I feel that. And that's why I told you guys, and I'm not saying that everybody is in here victim blaming whatsoever, but that's why I told you all we need to stand tall for these victims and have a voice for the voiceless instead of entertaining all this other shit that's not a reality right now. There's no reality of any other suspects. There's no reality of drug dealing going on right now. There's nothing that shows that. There's no evidence that nobody can show me or that I haven't seen that shows that Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, or Maddie were dealing drugs. There's just none of that. There's none of that information to come across to me to show me definitively that is a fact. It just hasn't been that. And that's why I got tired of all the shit, you know? Thank you, Misty. I appreciate you. Xana was a bad ass. Much love to this caller. Xana was a badass. Much love to this caller. Detective John. Thank you, Misty. I appreciate you. Detective John says, this is an awesome call. These horrible creators that we called out recently should hear this and be ashamed of themselves for uttering and entertaining lies for clicks. Thank you. Shout out to the comment, Detective John. I appreciate it. What's her name, guys? Her name is Angel. What was it? Angel 1980? I forgot, it was something in that range. I'm sobbing, says 1030 Melissa. Man, I wanted to break. I had to hold it together for a minute. I'd have been in here dripping on my t-shirt. Like I had to hold back what was coming into my eyes when she spoke. I just felt it. Do not be sorry. You are braved and loved. Thank you, Peyton, for encouraging her. Show her some love out there. Angel, right there. There it is. Keister Bunny found it. Angel lady, you have so much more support than any negative. Thank you, Keister, for keeping her warm and welcome here. I want the caller to know I don't think the victims were doing anything wrong to deserve what they got. I think every one of the victims deserve nothing but respect. Thank you for the kind words. No filter. God bless the callers and prayers. I'm so glad that you called. Thank you, Low 12, for showing respect. Thank you, JD, also. Paige, thank you. Jennifer says, thank you all for the time. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having the courage. Colin Hart, and then she says, and feel free to always talk to anybody in the chair. Feel free to be there with the people. Thank you for the love, Jennifer. We appreciate you. Thank you. I need attention, Hollis. I appreciate you. Hollis, I know how you feel about this case, too. I know how you personally feel about this case. Thank you. Lines open or shut them down? What are we doing? Ah, boy. We all felt that connection. I felt it. That's for sure. I agree, T-REV. Perfect ending. Mic drops, exit the stage. Mic drops, exit the stage. I kind of agree with that. I'm not even going to lie to you. I kind of agree with that. Hold up 1 second. Where's it at? Man. I'll tell you that much right now. That definitely... Ladies and gentlemen, I think you might be on par with that. Where's this at? Hold on, let me find this real quick before we do that. Ah, man, that one got me. I'll tell you that much. It got me. Tribute, right? That's what we need. We need to run this tribute. Perfect way. Why are the comments not showing for me? What's going on? Comments are literally not showing for me. Thank you, CK. That's all I can see is star comments. What's going on? Okay, there we go. I got it. More calls. Just in my opinion. Agree. Dedicate the show to her. Mic drop. Mic drop. 1 for mic drop, 2 for no. Either way, I'm coming back to him. Let me know. Solid connection. Solid connection. 1. I need tissues.
Anyone who knew Kaylee would tell you the same thing. To know her was to love her. Her love for life and everyone in it was so inspiring.
There you go.
Anyone who knew Kaylee would tell you the same thing. To know her was to love her. Her love for life and everyone in it was so inspiring. She made it a priority to make everyone feel so important, so loved.
There was never a day that she didn't want to race her brother because she was just determined that girls were faster than boys, or that she didn't want to go bug her little sisters.
Favorite memory for me was watching the game with her, and every time the Steelers scored, I'd pick her up and I'd hold her high in the air.
I didn't really realize that I was in love with Maddie until the summer of 2020. We went to McCall and just spent a lot of time on the water. We floated the river and just hung out every chance we got.
They went to other countries together. Karen took them to Hawaii together. We took them to Mexico together. They went to college together. They went to high school together. They lived in their own apartment together. They were sisters.
She was so positive and lighthearted and understood the gift of life more than anyone I know. I remember her getting so mad at me for caring about the little things that didn't matter. She would always tell me she wouldn't know what to do without me, and now I have to live this life without her.
And she taught me a lot of stuff. She taught me how to be a dad. And I didn't know that until she was gone, you know?
Xana, you will not be forgotten. You have impacted so many lives and have given people so much love. I hope I can make you proud and try to leave an impact on this world and on people like you did.
He had such an infectious smile and a charismatic personality. And if you knew anything about Xana as well, they were very similar in how they acted together.
They were always so happy, and the way she would talk and smile about him was something I've never seen her do before. She truly loved him so much, and I know he had so much love for her.
We are eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him. And I want to remind you that that's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.